Okay, guys, before we commence the Mandara, uh, I would like to again request you all to keep your phone on silent during the session. Please refrain from dropping out and joining multiple times. Keep your audio on mute and your video off. As mentioned earlier, the Q&A will be through a chat window. Thank you. So we'll begin with Mandara. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another e-Mandhaara at Sasken. It is my honor to introduce our guest speaker, Mrs. Janaki Vishwanath, the founder of Antharbhava. Mrs. Janaki completed a degree in English literature from the University of Madras along with an LLB received from Bangalore University. She enjoyed an eminent career in the media industry, having written various articles for newspapers, screenplays, and scripts for films, along with conceptualizations of 100 plus talk shows. In 2004, she was one of the founder of Fame India, an NGO that worked towards empowering people with disabilities. She spent 13 years as a trustee towards empowering people with disabilities. She spent 13 years as a trustee and implemented various selfless initiatives to help improve the quality of life for people with disabilities. In 2017, she embarked on a new journey as the founder and director of Antharbhava. On behalf of everyone here at Sasken, I thank Mrs. Janki for being our guest speaker. To start with, we have a quick video shared by her before commencing with this session.
Products are available at the store. The store today is managed by Kumar and Sharath. Kumar, with physical disability, is very independent and rides his own vehicle. Kumar handles billing and keeps track of fast-moving supplies and helps in inventory management. Sharath has intellectual disability. He helps in cleaning, sorting and packing vegetables and helps to maintain the store spick and span. And in present COVID times, everybody's temperature is checked before entering the store. Fresh vegetables and fruits come from different farms across the city. Sridhar has cerebral palsy, very hardworking, and takes on anything right from cleaning the crate to helping at the store and also sorts fruits and vegetables. He never says no and in fact takes it up as a challenge to complete any task that's assigned to him. Pratibha has hearing impairment. Hardworking, smart and manages the store really well. The fresh greens that just arrived are sorted and bunched to be picked up at the store. They welcome me with a broad smile, Prakriti and Sridhar taking a break and enjoying their cup of tea. In addition to the grocery store, Antharbhava manufactures paper and newspaper bags to contribute towards the environment and saying no to plastics. Prakriti, an autistic youngster who recently joined the team, helping make newspaper bags. What you see here is called a paper creasing machine, a semi-automated process where wallpaper scraps are cut and passed through the machine for creasing of papers. The creased paper is then folded to make paper bags. Sridhar is sorting the paper bags to be boxed, packed, and sent to other organizations. Antharbhava, creating an inclusive workplace for people with determination.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I think it's time for me to start. It kind of feels very different looking at the laptop screen and addressing so many people who have joined. But anyway, I think I'm good to go. All of you can hear me. That they can hear me. So you saw the video about Antharbhava. That is the organization that was founded by me, Mr. Vishwanath, and another friend of mine, Mrs. Revati Sundarajan. So the first, let me clarify what is the meaning of Antharbhava. What is Antharbhava? Antharbhava is a Section 8 company which has been promoted for the benefit of persons with disabilities. We employ and engage persons with disabilities in different job placements, and we run the company with them. Antharbhava, what does it mean? And what is Antharbhava? You know, when I wanted to start an organization which is an inclusive workplace where there is, an inclusion and everybody is treated as one, despite their disabilities and their shortcomings, I just did a Google search and found this word Antharbhava, which meant inclusion. So that's how it came about. A lot of people get misled that Antharbhava is the inner feeling, but actually it is not. It means inclusion. It means including everybody in one society. And that is the dream of all of us. And that's why we started this not-for-profit company. We started with a retail store a paper bag making unit, a vegetable cutting unit, and farming, all different activities happening in two venues. And, just started out any idea about retailing. None of us who were, in this who started this retail outlet had any idea about what is retailing. So we also learned with our people with disabilities about how to run a shop. So we were actually supposedly training them and making them do retail, and we learned along with them. So here is one small instance that I would like to share. One of our candidates who was under training, and I was with him in the store, and I was the manager of the store as a role play, and he was sitting with me to assist me, and he was a person with intellectual challenges. And I was chipping in for a person with physical challenges who would normally sit in the store. He couldn't make it on that day, and this was in the initial stages. I was sitting in the store and I was just keeping my fingers crossed that nobody should use a card, because a card machine is something I don't know how to operate. So I was just wishing that none of the customers should come with a card there. But unfortunately, a person turned up and he said he can pay only by card. I was seeing stars. I didn't know what to do. And my hero, who was sitting next to me, just got up and said, "Ma'am, I can do it." And he did it to the T without any problem. He just did step one, step two, step three. And he was actually teaching me. I said, "Who's the trainer here?" So that is a person with disabilities for you. We call him intellectually disabled. He could perfect repeated functioning. And this is exactly what we wanted at Antharbhaava. We pair a person with physical challenges and a person with intellectual challenges so that they can complement each other, stand up for the other one's so-called disability. And this pairing really worked. And how did we do that? I had seen in so many places that pairing of one physically challenged person with a intellectually challenged person really works well. I happened to witness a trying to coconut, peeling the coconut coir out of it. And it was done by a visually impaired person, helped by an intellectually challenged person. The whole process was working so well. Actually, while watching, I was really scared that the person with visual impairment is trying to do this with a crowbar, and doing that, it is planted on the floor, and he was doing it with ease, and the intellectually challenged person was just giving it and feeding it to him so that he puts it on the right angle on the crowbar. And I was just amazed the way the clockwork worked. And when I asked the supervisor, "How do you manage this? Won't they get hurt?" So he turned around and asked me, "Won't you get hurt when you do this for the first time?" All of us have to learn. And things get perfected only by repetition, doing something again and again. And once they get the hang of it, they will do it automatically. So that was really an eye opener for me. Having been in this sector for almost 20 years, I think I have learned a lot. I have just evolved to be a person with more understanding of so-called disabilities. The every day was a learning for me. Everyday interaction with persons with disabilities was an eye opener, was a learning session, was something that brought out a different me out of me. So as it went, we said, okay, the retail, will definitely go on because they are able to do it well. So we started doing all the back end, and the store is now almost 3 years old. From a footfall of about 30, 40 people per day, today we have touched almost 150 people a day. So this is the growth that we have seen. And initially, there were a lot of people who told us, how are you going to run a store like this? What if people don't even enter your store just because you have persons with intellectual challenges? It was really a big question mark because they said we still have a lot of apprehensions about people with intellectual challenges, about their behavior and so on and so forth. So what are you going to do? What if people just don't shop with you? Will you shut the store? And quite a lot of people also predicted that we are not going to sustain for long, and maybe 6 months we'll shut shop and go. But it just went on and on. And we took customer feedback, and they were all saying, we are greeted with happy face in your store. There is always somebody who is smiling and says, asks you, what do you want? Which is a very rare phenomenon now going to any supermarket or any departmental store. Most of them are busy with their phones and they don't even have the time or the mind to look at you and ask you what you want. There's a person like this, like someone coming in and asking for a thing, because first thing is that he is being recognized. He knows if this man wants milk, he comes and asks me, and I am able to give something to him. So this was the biggest change in their personality as I would see it, because they are always at the receiving end. For the first time, when they sit in a store and sell something, it is the reverse. There is somebody coming to them asking for something. So he takes pride that he is able to give something. I think this was the main thing that really made the retail part success. And our simple tagline was that we will give you healthy products, we give you good health, and you give us the dignity that they deserve. Because most of them have lost their self respect down the line because they themselves do not have the confidence that they can do so many things. So, in this journey, when they start understanding that they can do something, they are capable of doing something, I think a big psychological change happens within them. And that is when they start saying that, oh, I am an earning member, I am an employee of Antharbhava, I can do this. The first thing that, as they get into the organization, they are given an offer letter, they are given those badges, they are given the aprons. I think they feel immensely happy that they are being recognized. All these small things, just give them a small little card with their name on it. I think it makes them feel very happy because they have an identity. Otherwise, it just they are yet another person. They don't have that self-esteem to say that I am so and so. One of our boys came back and said, ma'am, thank you for the salary because I could afford the rent from my salary this time. I gave my mother the salary and she paid our rent, which was very, very, heartwarming for us. It's not just about the money, it's about the feeling of contributing something to the family or to the society. I think that makes them feel very happy and proud of themselves. And lot of things organically happened. The evolving of each person in the store happened very automatically. uh, in a very, very recent incident, what happened was one of our boys had gone to deliver something in an apartment complex. With the COVID times, we were focusing more on deliveries because people were not ready to come to the store and buy things and we had to send it to the apartments, leave it with the security, and come back. So our boys were doing that pretty well. And when one of them had gone to an apartment to leave some order for a person there, the security person has called. Apparently, the security was a new person. So he has called the resident and said that you have received a parcel. So when the customer asked him who has brought what, the security, in all fairness, should have come back and asked him which store or whatever. He has just looked at the basket and said, somebody, a mental, has brought vegetables to you. This hurt all of us so much. And this boy came back to the store and said, the security in that apartment called me a mental. I don't think I deserve to be called like that. So we all went back, and the boy, in fact, demanded an apology. So, how did he get empowered to that? This is what Antharbhava has done to him. He was able to stand up for himself and tell that person, you have no business to call me that. So, this is the change that we want to happen in the society. Despite all the awareness that is being built all around, and a lot of people are sensitized. I'm not saying no. The scenario now to the scenario 10 years or 15 years ago, there is a lot of difference. People in some way are able to accept physical challenges more comfortably than intellectual challenges. They still refer to people with intellectual challenges as lusu, mental, crack. Where does it take us? It's so painful. But on that day, when our boy came back and said, I demand an apology from this person, we all went and spoke to that security, sensitized the whole, building security people. And we felt happy that our boy could stand up for himself. How did he get the confidence? How did he get he played a self-advocate, which was very commendable. And if this is the change that Antharbhava has been able to make in one candidate, I'm sure this is something which should be, treated as a landmark for Antharbhava. Because this is our mission. Give them the dignity that they have to get. First of all, our organization will build their self-respect. At the same time, they should also stand up for themselves and establish their own self-respect and dignity. So this is how the whole process goes. Some people ask us, what is the impact that you have made in so many days in retail or whatever? What is the impact? What is the social impact that you have made? My only reply to all of them is that every day there are about 100 odd people who are coming to the store. They understand that our people are a little slow. They wait for them to finish the billing, and they wait for them to pack the stuff, and they take it. At the same time, they also understand that these people will not cheat us. They will tell us that this is good stuff, this is yesterday's stuff, this is what you can take, and this is something which we are not going to sell. So they do the sorting, they do the cleaning of products, they do everything, and they know how to guide the customers as it goes. They tell them that sir, this came yesterday. If you want, you can take that, but I would recommend you to take the other stuff which has come today. How many people, how many retailers are upfront like this? How many retailers speak the truth? Here, because it is run by the intellectually challenged people, they don't know to lie. They are upfront and they tell people what is what. This is the product that we have, and you have to take it only this way. We will help you to buy good products. So all these messages are given to the people. So this is the social impact. The people around the store, majority of them are now aware that so-called disability, so-called disability, they are making the store really efficient. And another thing that we have also been focusing on is to make their shortcomings as their strength. For instance, we have a person with obsessive compulsive disorder, which is he keeps cleaning all the time. Everything has to be spick and span for him. Everything has to be neatly arranged for him. So he is the boy who takes care of the arrangement in the store. He is the boy who cleans up everything, who puts everything in place, measures, packs, and he also goes to the extent of, we also have a cleaning, a cleaning lady who comes. He tells her, don't do it here. You're not doing a good job. I will clean the store. Stay outside. You watch me and then you do like this. So they have gone to that level. So his shortcoming of, the repetitive cleaning and, all of this sorting and, clearing things and keeping things in order has been made into a strength. And anybody who enters the store will definitely appreciate the way things are kept there. So this is how they have got to understand, and they have been allowed to grow to understand the customers, thoughts, how to serve them, how to be, polite, and how to talk to them. And all of this has happened very organically. They haven't gone to any training center to learn about retailing. It's basic good behavior that we try to tell them, this is how you do. These are all the basic courtesies. I mean, the words that you wish somebody when they enter. Say hello, say good morning, good afternoon. And as they learn all this, they are on the job all the time and they implement it immediately. Because if it is run as a training program and then they go back to the store to do it, it doesn't really work the way they are taught. With these people with a very, low memory and low retention of commands, what worked was to put them on the job. They have to be on the job and they learn everything automatically. There is somebody always there hand holding. And now we are all out. After these 2 years, everybody manages on their own. So this is how we have kind of built the retail. And the next one is the paper bag making unit. Again, paper bag is a, they are able to create something and, give it to people. There's so much of, fine motor skills, coordination that is involved, which is automatically picked up. So when we put them on the job, they do all this, one by one. It's a step by step method. So somebody who is good at applying paste and sticking will be doing it, as a permanent process. So they'll be doing continuously that. And then somebody else will be doing just the folding of paper. Somebody will be fixing only the handles. So this is how you identify their potentials through the so-called shortcomings and put them on the job. So we extend the policies of a special school in a workplace atmosphere, and this is how we have managed to get them to this. The other activity is the vegetable cutting activity. Unfortunately, with the advent of the pandemic, we have to, we have stopped all activities there. But otherwise, that again was an excellent activity where they start, like for instance, it is a half mechanized and a half manual process where there is a master peeler and all the vegetables get peeled in that, and they collect the peeled vegetables, they take it to another machine, get it cut. So goes as a process from one step to another step, which is just amazing. Like for instance, if somebody can just do only stringing of beans, even the so-called severely challenged low function person can be employed in an job like that. They can be just stringing the beans or out the stock from chilies. So all these things are possible when you choose a vocation that can be done by everybody. So it's not about just picking a few people who are functional, who can do only a few things and employ them. You have to give an opportunity to everybody to do the things that they can do. That is more important to us because we talk of inclusion. They may be low skilled, they may be high skilled, there may be mediocre performers, but put them in activities where they can do it repetitively, and the outcome is a combined effort where you're also developing a lot of team spirit, and finally they say this is something which we have done. They get all the vegetables, they have a washer, they do the washing, and then somebody else takes it to the stringing or cleaning up of the vegetables, and then loading it onto the peeler or directly loading it onto the cutting machine. And then finally it is all collected, put in different boxes, weighed. There is a color coding for different restaurants. We were supplying for different restaurants, so they mark it and put it in the place where this particular restaurant vegetables are all stored. They put it in the cold room and they finish the job. And by next early morning, by 2 o'clock, and they know which hotel is kept in which rack. There is a lot of color coding that also happens. They pick it up and they go and serve the hotels. It used to work like a clockwork. So it is a continuous assembly line activity which we really are delighted to watch our people doing. So these are some of the occasions. Take for instance farming, how we do farming. In farming also they have, we break up. There is something called task analysis which is done when we take up every vocation. After the task analysis is done, what comes easily and what comes comfortably for them, and engage them only in that. By this way, you are making them feel good also, because they are not disappointed that they are not able to do something. Why give them a task which we all know that they will not be able to execute? So give them that something they can do, bring in that positive feeling in them, get them to be confident about themselves, and then make them do all these things. You will just be amazed the way they work. They are very serious about what they are doing. They are very committed about what they are doing. And it is not about just, getting a salary at the end of the month. It's more about what they are able to contribute. There is a pride in them. There is an ownership in them saying that Antharbhava is mine. And this is what I want to be. I am a part of Antharbhava, and I want our store to be good. I want our work to be good. So there's a lot of ownership in them. So these are things which are not being preached or pushed into them, but everything has already happened, and this is our dream. So taking all this forward, we are looking at expanding each of these activities. Just unfortunately, this pandemic has upset a lot of our activities, but we still want to go ahead and see that however best we can improve on each of these activities, we would like to improve and go on. So this is Antharbhava for you. Any questions? Are we ready for questions? Okay. What are some of the challenges that these PWD face apart from social stigma? Okay, there are, they, apart from the social stigma, they do have problems of, commute and general movement because, if they, some of them, majority of them use the public transport to come and things like that. Some of them have a little bit of wobbly walking and they are slower and, they are not able to time their getting into the bus quickly and all that. I wish we had more access and the buses were designed a little better, or at least for persons with disabilities, if they can look at making some improvisations in the buses for them to make it more user friendly, especially for PWDs. And see, in a lot of places, you do have special vehicles for persons with disabilities. In India, we don't find it that prevalent. I think economy could be one reason for it. But I think if you empower them by giving them a little more mobility, they can achieve a lot more. Are the families supportive? And in many situations, the family themselves ridicule them. Yes, I agree. The family themselves not exactly ridicule them, but underestimate them. There always has to be a constant, push from somebody for them to, do things, because they do have a lot of aches and pains, especially a person with a spastic condition. They do have a lot of bodily difficulties, say a person with a muscular dystrophy or any of these conditions. Despite all these pains and despite all these, if they have to look forward to coming to a place, the family has to be a little more supportive. They can't just dismiss them saying that, oh, you can't do that, please just stay away. That's not on. I think the families will have to encourage them. um, I won't say they are ridiculing in any sense, but there is a lot of underestimation. There is a lot of, the families do, some families, the acceptance hasn't really happened. If the acceptance doesn't happen in the family, how will the world accept them? It has to start from the family. So that is where I do feel, the families have to be more supportive. I just want to recollect one instance that was one of the major motivating factors for me to start a company for people with disabilities. Was that I was teaching drawing and painting. This is about 35, 40 years ago. There was this boy who was very talented and his drawing and painting was really amazing. So I used to go and teach him in Spastic Society of Karnataka. And he was excellent. I mean, he used to be just phenomenal in his drawings. Till one day I met his father and he came and asked me, what is the purpose of teaching him this? Worst, I mean, the best thing you can get out of him is to make him do the drawing really well. But what is he going to do with that talent? Do you think my son has to lie down on the street like the other people and draw a Raghavendra Swami or a Anjaneya and get money out of begging? That hurt me a lot. If you're not able to encourage your own child's talent, your own child potentials, how will the world do it? So it has to start from the family. So that is, the way that father spoke to me and dismissing of his son to the level of a beggar really hurt me a lot. And that is where the whole journey of I must do something to get their dignity back. Begging is not a solution. And he said it in such a way that even after 40 years, I still remember it. So I think that says it all. And another instance also, I mean, I have met some people who have been really empowered because of family support. One of them I would definitely would like to remember is Dorothy Hepzibah. She unfortunately passed away a few years ago, but the way the family stood by her, and she started this trust called New Horizon Trust for persons with disabilities. And she managed the whole thing so beautifully. Another person who was like that, who is still with, going with the same vigor, is Madhu Singhal of Mitra Jyoti. These people are all role models who we have to look up to. Mahantesh of Samarthanam, all these people have set examples and their families have stood by them, and this is what we need as the hour of need now. There's somebody who's asking me, how did you handle? First and foremost, I think we should stop thinking that we have to handle them. There's no handling. I think they just be with them. A lot of volunteers come and ask us, what can we do, physically, if we want to volunteer and do something here. I would actually tell them, just be with them. Initially, just be with them, understand them, learn from them, and start teaching. So there's no handling. If you sit next to them and just watch them, I think the fact that you are accepting them and sitting next to them, that makes them feel friendly to you, and they are definitely friendly. Because even today we do have one or two candidates who throw tantrums at times, and it's just that at those times we just leave them to themselves and don't disturb them, and then they'll come round. Because even as uh, latest was yesterday, where one of the candidates, he's an accident victim, and has lost all his skills. He was an engineer basically, but now he just knows nothing. He's as good or as bad as a third standard kid now. So he comes to the center. He makes newspaper bags, and we are encouraging him to do some drawing and painting and things like that. So he actually started throwing up tantrums in the last couple of days, and we understood that the family has shifted from one part of Bangalore closer to the center because he has joined us and he is doing pretty good here. So that change has probably disturbed him, and that's probably the reason why he's throwing these tantrums. So it's um, it's just a given that you have to let them be if they have a bad mood, like you do with any other person. What do you do if your boss is angry? Don't enter the room. So do that with them, and I think they automatically come round. The angers. See, everybody. When it comes to being with them or handling them, as you put it, it is all like anybody else. Maybe um, it varies in degrees, but the way you approach and the way you are with them is almost the same. They are not any different. I see another question which says, do the families receive counseling on how to deal with them? Yes, the families do get a lot of support. The every organization has persons with whoever has persons with intellectual challenges. The families are counseled first, and all have psychologists on board definitely, and for counseling not only the candidates but also the families. And as I said, the families need to be given a lot of education and awareness about a lot of things. Even you might have seen that Mitra for Life that started off when we started the video. They are also a group who run counseling for the families and also others online. Now with the COVID, there's a lot of disturbances happening in the families of persons with intellectual challenges, especially persons with autism and all of that. So the families are getting a lot of online counseling. They are running a lot of programs. DNA, that is Disabilities NGO Alliance, they also do a lot of counseling. There are a lot of programs that are going on, and Spastic Society also runs a lot of these programs. So there is help all around. It's just that you should be aware and you should accept and take help that is extended to you. Mm.
Okay, I
I
think
suppose all, yeah.
we do not have any more questions, I guess. Thank you so much, Mrs. Janki. I would like to hand it over to
Yeah.
Swami Sir for the vote of thanks. Swami Sir, over to you.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you so much, Janaki. It's a pleasure to listen to you over a Zoom call, over a Teams call. We have met. I've had the pleasure of meeting you and Mr. Vishwanath. I saw him in the background, I think, assisting you. It's always a teamwork. Uh, just to let you know, guys, I think Janaki Vishwanath has been a role model for a number of years. I think first time I met her was probably early 2002 when she was with FAME and driving that organization pretty strongly in terms of integrating people with different abilities and challenges. Some of you also know Siddharth Narayan, who is a product of FAME India, who works in Sasken now and has been working for some close to 10 years, I guess. I've lost track of time in terms of how long Sid has been with us. The kind of sheer energy that Mrs. Janaki Vishwanath has brought to this entire thing. You can even see the choice of words. Even her choice of words are so gracious that it doesn't feel hurtful at all, as if people are being looked at as two different sets of people, one with ability and one without ability. I think that's where the distinction starts. So if you look over these 45 minutes, I'm sure it's not a rehearsed speech because I've known her to speak like this for more than a decade and a half. It's very easy for a trained speaker to come and say this, but in her case, I think a training is essentially carrying out whatever the thoughts are in action. It's very difficult to embark upon something like this when half the world is telling you won't succeed. So the concept of Antharbhava, I think, is also built on self-belief, in the sense that we can make a difference. We don't have to look at the magnitude of the difference because the social impact gets multiplied. Today, in the Joy of Giving month, October, my appeal to all of you is to follow this example. And I hope it's touched something in us to say that it doesn't matter. We don't have to wait to make an impact that is huge. We can start in a small way. For those of you staying in and around Bangalore, I would urge you to go to Madon Park area. Next to a beautiful post office, not far away, is this Antharbhava shop. Please visit it and do a mystery purchase. And now that you have the coordinates of Mrs. Janaki Vishwanath, give a feedback and say what was the experience. Test it out. I can guarantee you that whatever she said is something that you will experience. Of course, be safe. These are times of COVID. I have also seen firsthand the kind of wonderful service they do with the vegetable cutting. It's a pity that it didn't, go to the level of progress it could have done during COVID and other things. So with this, thank you so much. And I think, speaking is one thing, lip service is another thing, but actually walking the talk on this and carrying this out as a soldier really means that our society is richer. We are richer today. Everybody in Sasken who attended this is going to go away and look at themselves a little differently. I think that's where the change starts. And you said, who is disabled? Perhaps we are disabled by labeling people as you rightly said, mental, loose, and stuff like that. So hopefully that's touched a chord in all of us, and you will continue to inspire us. Let's wait for a time when this COVID thing blows over and we can begin a physical meeting, maybe we'll organize a store, an Antharbhava store in Sasken campus for a day, so that you can get to see people firsthand and interact and experience the joy when you see people without labeling them. When you work with people without labeling them, shoulder to shoulder, which is important. And I guess, we owe a huge amount of thanks and gratitude for coming and sharing this with us. These are things that will change us, not the changing fashions or changing technology, which will anyway happen. But if there's a transformation that can come from within to see there's a service mindset. Thank you so much, Mrs. Janaki Vishwanathan. Thank you, Mr. Vishwanathan, though you're not in the frame. He can come in the frame too by popular demand. Revati is not here. Guys, say hello to the real force. The two of them put together as a force. Revati is also there. She's also the force. So it's a trio. I think we need to give them a huge round of applause. Though it's a applause, let's make it count. I can invite one of you or two of you to just share your quick thoughts and feelings. If one of you, Jitendra Nagpal, if you'd like to say something, I just happen to see your name on screen, so you can say that. Kamaksha, if you'd like to share a word or two about your experience, it would be wonderful.
Sure, Swami, I think I agree with what you said. It has been a really touching, experience. Even hearing what Mrs. Janaki Vishwanathan has said, really thank her for all her contribution. Thank you so much.
Yes, Kamaksha here, Janaki ma'am, and Vishwanath sir. So the program, the Mandara, we usually go through, and people from different parts of life come and share their experience. But today, what you shared looked very, very simple, but it had a lot of impact, and it touched our heart. It was so natural from you. No slides or no PPT. It just came from your heart, and it really means a lot. It looks very simple from outlook, that what you people are doing, but kind of efforts or the pain what you have taken through is a lot more, is what I can make out, and it's really highly appreciable from all of us. Thank you so much for coming and sharing the experience and the journey.
Thank you, Sasken, for organizing this. We are indeed very grateful. While I thank all of you, I would also urge you to visit our website and also our Facebook page to learn more about Antharbhava. Thank you.
I have a person who wants to say a few words. Anis Haidari, can you do that, please?
Thanks, Swami sir. Janaki, I am not well actually in second half, just took off today. Get decided to join the session because Mandara always inspires, and people like you in Mandara always inspires. So I have experienced this, what you said about honesty of the, I would call them the God-gifted talent, while our society doesn't treat them that way. So I'm quite amazed with the good work which you have done, and I truly commend you for that particular effort. I have been to some of these stores, so I know what you're talking about. It is just visual in my front of me. While I was not well, I think it made my day. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anis. Thank you so much once again for sharing this experience, and we certainly hope that once we turn over this COVID thing and things are a bit more safe, we will try and organize a field visit for people who volunteer to come and see the store and the amazing work they've done. Seeing is indeed believing. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are blessed to have you in our midst. Thank you very much.
Same.
Thank you so much, guys. Please do fill the feedback form. It would take not more than a minute. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you, Swami sir.